Imagine your dad telling you that because you're a girl child,
You no get use.
you no get use.
Hmm.
Said it, I think, at what age? You're a girl child, because I noticed he wasn't even the times that he was present. I don't get this father-daughter bond, like because I see my friends how their dad play with them,
Yeah.
but he just comes home and the painful part I look like him.
Wow.
I forgive you. Those words made me hard.
Mm.
I hardly accept love.
And you be affecting
Yeah.
other people.
Yes.
I was really like they were
Definitely.
collecting. They collect people.
The reason why we do certain things, expose our experiences, expose in some way shows that there is beyond the this person is great, this person is doing well, this person is, you understand,
Yeah.
is rising, is growing and all that. In some way, if you pay attention, it will tell you, if you dig deeper, people are very busy these
Yes.
days, they don't have time to really, so but if you dig deeper, you'll be able to place your finger on why they really do, because some people don't even know,
They don't.
they are not aware.
The way I'll beat a girl will be different from the way I'll punish a guy. Like the anger from home, I bring it to school and I punish them very well. And I got to realize that when a guy talks to me, I'm very defensive. Like very it's just there.
Ready
Is there.
from the high.
And I did not realize it.
Welcome to the Life Podcast, your safe space. So on today's episode, we will be talking about scars and trauma. What are scars to begin with? Okay. Scars are marks or injuries that remain on the body or mind after a wound or trauma has healed. Should I repeat that? Scars are marks or injuries that remain on the body or mind after a wound or trauma has healed. Now, what is trauma? Trauma refers to a deeply disturbing or distressing experience that can cause physical, emotional, or psychological harm. Wow, that's a very deep one. Do you have something to add to the definition of scar?
All right. Based on experience,
Yeah.
my personal definition of trauma actually is the after effect of an experience. Yes, the after effect of an experience. What you get to live with after an experience, a very bad or sad experience. Yeah.
Okay.
So-
That's trauma, right?
Yes.
Nah, scars.
Well, so according to Webster's dictionary, it says scars are a lasting effect of a painful or traumatic experience. So, what stands out here is the fact that it's a lasting effect. So, for you to have a scar, the traumatic experience would have possibly happened for an extended period of time for there to be a mark. Well, there are instances where something happens suddenly, not that it's for a long period of time, and still ends up leaving scars
scar.
on your.
So it's so to say trauma leads to scars.
Yes, trauma leads to scars.
We don't just have scars.
You don't just have scars, so it must have been a traumatic experience.
Due to a traumatic experience.
Due to a traumatic experience.
Funny how there are a lot of people, or should I say, please tell me if I'm wrong, should I say 90% of humans they've been through, is it been through now? Trauma.
Yeah.
But you would never know. Because many of them they've covered it up with a lot of things. And you feel that's who they are. I think many people are hiding behind a lot of things. You see someone being so ambitious, like I want to achieve this, I want to not or no, you might see the person like, oh, this person is so ambitious, oh, this lady is hardworking, oh, this man is so unknown to you that that person is just using that to
Yeah.
cover up. So now, how do you identify? Let me use that question. Let me use that word. How do you identify someone? Because I feel it's very hard for you to identify someone that is undergoing,
A traumatic
that have been
experience.
through, yes,
Traumatic
a traumatic
experience.
experience, and the scar, or should I say the wound even, is still there. They just cover it up with a lot of things. How do you know?
Okay.
Okay. I don't know if I believe that conversing, like through conversation, you can identify someone that has been through a traumatic experience, especially when that person is yet to heal. You can identify that person. And sometimes their motive, the motive behind why they do what they do, right? When you want to know why they do what they do, sometimes the things that they do can be good, right? But
Mm-hmm.
if you ask their reasons, the reasons
What's
why,
driving?
yes,
Yeah.
what their
What
drive
their
is,
motivation is?
yes, it's not right. It's not really right. Okay, you see some ladies working hard. It's good for a lady to work hard. Maybe, okay, I want to be supportive. I don't want to leave the weight on my husband when I get married. Okay, that's good. But as hardworking as she is, if you ask her the reason, I don't want any man to insult me. Oh.
Yeah.
I don't want any nonsense. I don't want to tolerate any rubbish from any man. If they do me anyhow, I'll just pack my things and go. Let it not be like I'm staying in a house because I don't have money. You
Mm.
get it?
Yeah.
That idea did not just come out from
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah.
It's something happened.
Something must
Right?
have
Yes,
happened.
there's
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
behind it. So when somebody tell you talk to somebody and somebody says that kind of a thing, you will know that something is not right somewhere. Yes. So
Yeah.
from communication, if you're sensitive, you can pick that
This
this person.
person
Yes. Because it's not everybody that will be sitting and crying, wallowing in self pity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Yes.
And also, I think in some way we it has to begin with us. Says scripture says you have to remove the log in your own eye
Before you be able
before
to.
Move the beam.
you understand.
Yeah.
So sincerely, I would say, if not everyone, most people that have walked the surface of this earth or are walking the surface of this earth or have walked this earth in some way must have experienced trauma in one way or another. So the gravity might vary, but in one way or another, people go through these things. So, and it informs the way we deal with them, inform the decisions we make. So, like you said, the reason why we do certain things expose our experiences, expose in some way shows that there is beyond the, yeah, this person is great, this person is doing well, this person is, you understand, is rising, is growing and all that. In some way, if you pay attention, it will tell you, if you dig deeper, people are very busy these
Yes.
days. They don't have time to really so. But if you dig deeper, you'll be able to place your finger on why they really do. Because some people don't even know.
They don't.
They are not aware
Yes.
that, okay, I give you an example. There was a time I was having a conversation with someone who's like an auntie. She's well respected. And I was telling her how that I didn't want to leave my kids by themselves. You get I I grew up, in a home where daddy was always traveling. Then at some point that was why we were with our dad. And then when we moved to our mom was working 2, 3 jobs. She wasn't always around, we're more or less like on our own. So I didn't want a situation whereby I'll be an absentee mom. I didn't want my children to grow up with this thing in their head. Okay, my mom was not always around.
Around.
my daddy was not always around. I didn't want them to have that. And she said, yes, all that is good, that I'm being intentional about raising them and not wanting them to be by themselves. But what is the motive behind it? And she said, it's fear.
It's fear.
She was one that made me realize that it was fear.
Fear.
So once I'm able to deal with the fear, there is nothing wrong with what I want to do. There is
Yes.
nothing wrong with me wanting to be
The
present
decision
with the decision I made.
Yeah.
But the driving
The
force,
motive.
the motive is wrong.
Wrong.
So your motive can be wrong. The decision you have made could be right, but the motive can be wrong.
And it can affect
The end
along
result,
the line.
yes,
The
Because
effect will show.
it will show.
how did you first realize that you were struggling with trauma?
Hey, depends.
Depends on the trauma.
Depends on the trauma, which one in
Which
particular.
are the traumas?
Okay. Okay. There's this one. Jesus, am I ready?
Calm down.
Okay.
Do like this.
Breathe in.
Oh, yeah, breathe out.
No, I'm very, very demure, so I'm not going to do that. Anyways,
Okay.
okay. So one of the things maybe 2-3 years ago, I realized was something that I had to deal with was due to childbirth. What happened during childbirth? Okay, so my first daughter, I was 6 months pregnant with my first child when my mom passed on. So my second daughter was 3 weeks old when my father-in-law passed. And that messed me up. I didn't know. So it's kind of made me afraid of having more kids because I was afraid for someone else to die.
Die.
Do you understand? Yes.
Yes, no.
Yes.
Possible.
So imagine you're 6 months gone. Your mom
Mother
had been
died.
praying all this while that you conceive and all that. And then she dies. And then 3 weeks after you have 2 or 3 weeks after I had my it's up to 3 weeks.
It was 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
According
After I
to what
had
you
my
said.
second baby, my father-in-law passed. You know what that
Actually,
does to you?
something
These
to
are
calculate.
parents.
Yeah.
Do you get?
Wow.
And then I didn't even realize it. I just knew that I was afraid. I knew I was afraid. I couldn't, give it a name. I couldn't.
Yeah.
You guess I couldn't say this was it. I just knew I had this fear. I didn't want anybody else to die. I didn't want to. I was too afraid to conceive again. So previously we had talked about in one of the episodes we talked about vulnerability and this saying that a problem shared is half
Problem
solved is true. A lot of times we tend to keep the pains, the experiences we've had, we lock them up somewhere, in fact throw away the keys, and then we don't want to face them.
Behave as though we're normal.
Yes, and then we don't share with people because we're afraid of what people will think. And then, especially when people expect you to be strong, to just be that kind of person that experiences things and gets up and goes, So people
Sometimes it's good to sit back
just
and check yourself.
check yourself.
Yeah.
I
Ask
remember
yourself
when
if
I
you're
lost
all right.
My dad.
Yeah.
After everything, the stress, when he died, throughout that day, that week, I barely cried.
Yeah.
I was fine, so to say. But I realized later on, like after a year, that I became scared of marriage. It's my father that died. It's not my husband.
Yeah.
I became scared of marriage. Why? What if my husband dies? Like I've I did not realize that. I just realized that sometimes when I look at couples, there's this feeling I just get. I don't want. I started marriage started leaving my mind because I became scared that, and this one is not something you can avoid.
Yeah.
It's nature.
Yeah.
So I became scared. So somebody will just get married,
And
and all
then
of a sudden the person will just die and leave you with children, maybe, or leave you with a child, and
how
all
will
when
you
all the
deal?
children goes, you are not alone.
You're not
So I
alone.
became scared, and I did not realize it.
Things like that, you don't really
Yeah.
realize them unless you sit down. You
sit
begin
down.
to question
Yeah.
everything
Yourself,
you are feeling,
yes.
everything you are thinking.
Reflect.
So a lot of times we need to question what we are thinking, what we are feeling.
Feeling.
Because if we don't, we just keep hoarding those things, keeping
In a box.
we keep pushing them aside. They keep
Suppressing them.
piling, we
Yes.
keep suppressing them with things, and then the day we experience an outburst, people will wonder from where to
is
where.
it? Where is
So
it
it
coming from?
took when it took a while, it took years for me to be able to confess it to my husband. I told him, and when I told him, okay, I confessed it to him, and I confessed it to my pastor, to that auntie, and then to one of a very very close pastor.
Pastor.
So, and then they understood, and they prayed. They prayed with me. So the thing is, it's not enough for you to realize these things, but it's also good that you find someone you can trust
Tell it
Yeah.
to.
tell it to. You understand? And then they're able to pray with you. Sometimes we expect people to just know what is going on with us. It's a lot of pressure. They have their own lives to live. People are going through stuff as well.
Nobody can just focus on you. and
Exactly.
And
you alone.
sometimes what you
But it's good that you have
Yeah.
people who are sensitive
Yeah.
enough to pick things you get. But
Yeah.
when you don't have people like that around, or you are not even like that towards others, allow people to be themselves. You understand?
Yeah.
So there's just a whole lot to this trauma thing and the kind of scars it leaves. Okay, another traumatizing experience was back to delivery. The kind of tear. Let's leave that one.
Kind of tear.
Yes, sir.
My God.
let's not talk about it.
Okay.
Oh, better talk about it.
Please now.
No, the thing is,
What?
Joe.
see,
I
no,
beg.
listen. There are some things that we really need to talk about to prepare people's minds for. It's not that you are expecting you are expected to go through it, but knowledge is power. Do you understand? That you're already aware is where with you.
Amen.
That you're already aware that these things happen will not shock you when
it happens.
it happens to you.
If it happens.
Yes, if it happens to you or someone close to you.
Yeah.
So it's just like over the years, thousands and thousands of years ago, people have been having children and all
Nobody
that.
told
So
us.
in the course of that, there are people that have sat down to write books on what to expect during gestation, what to expect during delivery and afterwards. You understand? But there are people that they don't research on these things. They don't open themselves to learning anything that has to do with this.
Yeah.
And then when they come to deliver, it shocks
They
them.
are shocked.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
They are shocked. So it's except for extreme cases that you can't really handle, you get. But there are basic things that you should be aware of. Yes, there are times that people have tear. There's episiotomy. There's induction. There is even the induction. There is induction. There is the one that people assume. People
just
no.
take it.
What I mean by why I said the is, when people just say, "Oh, I was induced," it sounds like
Very sweet.
it sounds like
you
very
took vitamin C.
High five. Like you took vitamin C and then that was it. But if it is tablet, the process of fixing the tablet and all that, I don't, sorry if this is graphic, but they are real facts, so let's talk about them. So putting the tablet and all that, you feel it, you feel pain, and all those things. So there are people that um know that childbirth delivery process can be painful. There are people that experience no pain, and there are those that, okay, I don't want to go through the pain at all. If you
Yeah,
should,
operate.
no, not this, not even CS now. um I can't remember what they call the injection. They give you this injection and you don't feel the pain, you just feel the pressure of the baby coming out, and that is it.
Abba.
Yeah, see their face. And I can't remember what they call it now. Please, if you remember what they call it, put it in the comment section. So you get, so there are different things. There are different things to it. A child could see the parents quarrel, and this person is very peaceful, and then one day gets married and then thinks it is normal for
Yeah.
husband and wife.
To quarrel.
You don't quarrel with any other person, but you
Just-
quarrel with your spouse. I mean, like, get physical with your spouse. They don't fight with any other person. So it's things that people have seen. It has marked them.
And they don't realize it.
They don't realize it.
That's dangerous.
So it becomes your mind just adjusts to the fact that it is normal, whereas it is not normal. You get, so there are just so many things that
See, that's why it's good to talk to people.
it's good to talk
Yeah,
to
it's
people,
good
to
to
the
talk to
right
people.
people. We
To
always
the
say
right
this:
people.
talk to the right
The right
people.
It's very good.
God help us.
Amen.
How did you realize, Auntie Lisica?
All right, I just shared one.
Okay.
Secondly, I realized, okay, somebody made me to realize that I have, okay, I used to be very defensive. Yeah. Like a few years back, if a girl gives me advice, well accepted. Let a guy give me that same advice. Like,
Those walls of Jericho, we just
just like, who are you? Why? How?
wow.
Who you be?
Do you want to tell me what to do? Who are you to tell me what to do? Like, and I did not realize it. Right? My dad was very strict, very loving, but very strict, and his words were yea and amen.
Wow.
Wait till you talk. Now wait till you go do. So we didn't have this opportunity to speak out
Or
sometimes.
express yourselves.
Yes, even when you are angry, you keep them. You keep everything. Sometimes when I get to school, even then, I did not realize that all my anger, unfortunately, I now became the labor prefect. So
Hey.
That the Jesus.
I was beating
My
guys.
God.
I used to beat them. There's one that I've lost it for giving me up to now.
We're just the cause of the problems you were facing in this life.
Sincerely, I will beat them. The way I'll beat a girl will be different from the way I'll punish a guy.
Wow.
Like the anger from home, I bring it to school and I punish them very well. And I got to realize that when a guy talks to me, I'm very defensive. Like very it's just there. Defensive
Ready
is there.
from the high.
And I did not realize it. So it was one of my friends that was not like, tell me about your family, about your background. How is your mom like?
This person must have been observing you.
Yes. How is it? Me, I will not say sorry. Oh. I can never be sorry.
Wow.
And when I told him, he said, no wonder you are very defensive. I was not like defensive. You know when you now sit down
Yeah.
and they call it sober reflection. I had to sit down and check. And I realized that actually,
You really do shout.
yes.
You really do shout. Abi, you really do vex.
I was very defensive. I don't used to, I refuse correction from guides. If you are now authoritative, it's the worst. We will not settle at all. So I was very defensive. I don't say sorry to any guy. You don't correct me. You don't tell me what to do. I can't be under you.
Wow.
Nothing concern me with you. We are just friends. And any day our friendship comes to the extent that you want to now correct me, you're on your own.
Wow.
So I was like that and I did not realize until someone made me to by help just giving me the sheet and more like he's not telling me you are defensive.
Yeah.
He just asked questions
Questions.
and I realized it myself that okay, I have this problem. And they did not he did not just leave me to it.
Yeah.
He helped
Which
me.
is very, very
Yes.
important.
He helped me through it. And also he stopped talking to me in a way that because now the person is defensive doesn't mean that you should be touching that
Yeah.
button, pressing
Yeah.
that button
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
always
True.
offend the person too.
True.
Because some people will say that is how you change.
I lie.
Always annoying you and thinking that that's the right thing to do. So I realized that with time, when he made it safe for me to talk to him, I got to realize that when I'm around a guy
Yeah.
that makes me feel heard, I can take correction from you. I'm still healing. I'm still talking to myself. But if you're authoritative, this is it and this is how it will be. I will not no go still.
We get better. Mine
Yeah.
at some point was shouting.
Even me.
Just I especially to my kids, I just find myself shouting. Like especially when I've said something over and over and over again, I just find myself shouting. And sometimes I'll hear, not that you shouted, what did it change? Or as you shout like this, it makes sense. I'll just when I hear things like this, I always walk away. Go and sit down as if I was flogged. You get, and then I'm so at some point I had to trace it back. Where is this thing coming from? My mom was not a shouty person.
Calm.
My mom was not the beating type. My mom was not the
Shouting type.
shouting
And you know
type.
one thing with this trauma, you know that this is not who you are.
Yes.
But you can't
Yes.
help
You
it.
can't, if you don't sit down and give yourself that
Lay your
time,
hands on it, right?
you cannot,
can't
you
help
just
it.
be confused that I know this is not
This is not who I am. Yes.
So what
Where
is
is
wrong
it
with
coming
me?
from?
Where is
Yes.
it coming from?
Where is it coming from?
Yeah.
So being able to trace these things is key to your healing, is key to your transformation. So I began to trace this and I figured that it wasn't perfect. It was my dad. My dad was um had PhD in flogging and also he could shout the house down. So I just figured, okay, this was where this thing was coming from. Do I want to remain like this? No.
No.
I'm better. I still shout too. Let me not lie. I still shout. I still do shout. But it's better and I'm able by the help of the Holy Spirit to check myself, to grab myself when I find myself in that situation. Then anger. In fact, it was terrible when I was in secondary school at some point that when I got angry, and when I mean angry, oh, there's that anger that okay, someone offends you, upsets you, you just vex, parasmo, and then you're gone. But there was this anger that when I got to that point, that my breath could begin to cease. Yes, it happened rarely when I was in school, but I remember an occasion where it happened that way, and then I began to feel like I was becoming kind of asthmatic. Like my breath was terrible. I can remember that day, like I remember that day. So imagine you getting angry to that extent.
That's bad.
The only thing was that I would not hit a person.
Your own is better.
I will not hit anybody.
Yeah.
But that I will not be physical with anybody. But I could I think I remember one or two occasions where I had to throw something. Yes, I had to throw something. I think there was an experience I had with a male friend of mine. I think at this time I was it was either before university or shortly after I entered the university. And I can't remember what happened. We had this conversation and then kept going on and on. I was so upset. I picked up, I don't remember what I picked up. So I threw it against the wall because I didn't want to get
Yeah.
physical.
Margaret Thatcher.
I didn't want to, excuse you.
Sorry.
So I was, immediately that happened, I knew
Yeah. Something
you
is
have a
wrong.
problem. You have a
No,
problem.
I was that aggressive too.
So there are people who deny that they
Yeah.
actually have a problem.
Yeah.
So people like that, what do you do? How do you help them? You know, there are people that you find like that they deny they have a problem. So it is those on the outside that have the problem.
Not them.
So for someone to be able to trigger you, you have a problem. But there are people who
No,
don't
I
understand that.
have those kinds, like two of them. They just believe that it's the people that are around them that have. And I will say to them, this one have problem. Another person in another state that is your friend have problem. They don't know each other. Then the other one too has, you are, can't you check yourself? Like,
Yeah.
And-
you're the problem.
most of the time they say the same thing about you. It's either you are aggressive, because there was one time my younger sister told me that I was aggressive. It's my younger sister now. Just fashion it. Just forgot about it. Until somebody again in school told me that same word, you are aggressive. I had to withdraw and think about it.
Yeah.
I think those people, it is still that trauma that makes them not to accept that something is actually wrong with them. And some of them, they are scared of letting people into their space. They
Yeah.
are scared of being vulnerable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They are scared of being
Yeah.
vulnerable, because I believe that is one of the problem. And maybe they've had trust issues. They've been betrayed.
Very true. It's possible for people not to want to be vulnerable, you know, with others because they've
tried.
been
Yeah.
betrayed.
Not necessarily they've tried. Maybe it's by their dad, oh,
It could have been anyone.
or
think-
by their brother in the
Yeah.
house.
And it did.
Someone they believe in so much.
Betrayal also varies.
Yes.
There are different ways people can betray you. So it's not necessarily that you told
You
someone
trusted
something,
and
the
the
person now
person
told someone else.
used it against
There are
you.
different, you know,
Or blackmail you.
there
It's
are
not-
people that you never in a million years would have expected to do something to you, and then it now happens.
Yeah.
It's also a form of betrayal. You get. So you have people who have been abused in their own father's house
Mm.
by people who are very, very close, and they might have threatened them not to speak up. You understand? So there's that form of betrayal, and there is shame. You understand? So there is shame, especially when it involves acts that people would term shameful or society terms shameful. Do you understand? So
Yeah.
we you know, when the shoot we had, Debbie's podcast happened, there was a lot of backlash in some quarters. And what I was able to deduce from it was there are people who will criticize what you're doing, not necessarily because you are wrong, but because you are speaking truth that applies to them.
Yeah.
But they need help, but are too proud
Yeah,
to say
accept.
this thing that you have said or this thing that is being talked about. I mean, it's the same kind of situation. But because I've made myself look perfect, you get, I've made myself and my maybe relationships or whatever look perfect, then I begin to tell you you are wrong. But the truth is, if you look deeper, they are crying for help, but they don't want to admit, because the truth is, certain things that were some of the backlash she had were things that she did not really say, because some in some quarters said she was insulting the men, calling out the men, you know, and then she's a feminist and all that. But the truth is, in the same um,
Podcast.
podcast, she
She's talked
defended the
about,
men.
yeah.
So people come with their preconceived notions, ideas, and then whatever it is you're saying, they don't hear, they don't see beyond what you are saying. They don't tend to try to look from your own perspective. So because they come with this already this defense, this wall, whatever you're saying now, it is not making
It's bouncing
sense.
back.
It's bouncing back. It's not making sense. And then they tend to like attack you.
Yeah.
But the truth is, a lot of people need help. They know they need help, but they don't know how
Yeah,
to ask
put it
and
out there.
to
that
put
they
it
need
out
help.
there that they need
I
help.
know some of them believe they can't be helped.
No, people should not think they can't be
I've
helped.
seen someone that believe, no, I don't know if can't be helped is the right word, sentence to use, because
People don't understand. People cannot help them.
they don't understand the depth.
The depth of there is no experience that is not common to man.
Yeah.
People go through things in diverse measures. Some it is extreme. Some will be like child's
Someone
play.
else have gone through that.
Some
too.
be like, you've not seen anything. For someone else, you'll be like, and you are still alive.
Yeah.
So it could be the same thing, but in different measure. But notwithstanding, there is nobody on this earth that will open up themselves to wanting to get healed, to wanting to get results, and asking God to send them help, that God will not send help. Sometimes the help you need is right in front of you. But because of
Sometimes,
see finish,
Yeah,
That's the word.
you will not,
avoiding to finish.
so you will not be receptive, and then maybe you have beef with a particular person and you feel like the help cannot come from the person. Sometimes you just feel like, I have a problem with this person. And you know that the key to your breakthrough is in the hand of
that person.
the person, but because of pride. So if we can set our pride aside, we can, and then ask, cry, SOS when there is trouble. I believe a lot of us will be able to find help in the time of need, because God will always send help. God always sends people.
He does.
He always sends people. They themselves might not be perfect, but
But at that time,
at the time there might be something they will just say, or even just a simple 2 seconds prayer
yeah.
could just change everything. So beyond the person, what do we see? You get, okay, I can just see, okay, because we dine and wine together, I feel I've finished seeing UK now, and then nothing good can come from
That's an error.
from Nazareth. No.
That's an error.
Really, may God help us.
Yeah.
There are people who are dying in silence.
Sometimes those kind of people. I met a lady very dear to me,
Wait,
and she's
please,
like that.
Calm down before you share your own. I've not shared my own trauma.
Jesus.
All of you are share your trauma. I've not shared my.
Yeah, go ahead. We are
Share
sorry,
your
man.
trauma.
I continue. I'll share my own later.
You must
You
share
go
it.
share that trauma.
You must share the trauma. Oh yeah, start sharing.
Share.
Okay. Before I realized that I was struggling with trauma, Abi, I was undergoing. I was going through.
Trauma was involved.
Yes, trauma was involved. It took time, because I saw it as a part of my life, just normal way of life. Papa was never present. Yeah. So, and apart from that, right, there were words he said, very harsh words, that made me feel, those kind of words that, when those words come from maybe an outsider, you really not
Yeah,
bother
they don't
about.
cut that deep.
But then coming from Papa,
Hmm.
yeah, at a tender age, it really hit hard, and right, and it was really really hard. It was really tough. So growing up, imagine your dad telling you that because you're a girl child.
You know, get used.
You no get used.
Right.
Said it, I think, at what age? You're a girl child, because I noticed he wasn't, even the times that he was present, I don't get this father-daughter bond. Like, because I see my friends, how their dad play with them,
Yeah.
but he just comes home. And the painful part, I look like him.
Wow.
I forgive you. I've forgiven him. Sure, it's not a painful part. Yeah, he's a handsome man. So
Come on.
you can
Yeah,
see it.
it's obvious.
You can see
Oh,
it.
Lord.
So that fateful day I walked up to him. I was just like trying to play with him, and he just bent down, held my shoulders and said, "You're a girl child.
Hmm.
You're of no use to me."
Wow.
Like, yeah,
Yeah, me too.
in my mind.
Hmm.
You know those emotional songs in Indian movies? Oh, charankine ya he. Ah,
That was the
love song.
that was the background music.
Don't be pity so.
I was so heartbroken. I felt pain coming from my dad. So I was thinking maybe he said that because he was stressed from work. And being a child, I still went to him one time like that again to play. And I got injured. I think I got burnt. And I went to him, I was like, "Dad, you see my injury?" My dad said it's good for children.
Wow.
Papa said it's good for children. I was like, this man knew it till they talk. So I carried that in my heart. I didn't even know that it was in my heart. Since he said that, I found myself like growing up in school. I want to be good.
Hmm.
I don't want to find myself failing. There was a
Okay.
time I came fourth position. Hell, I cried. I was crying.
And some people will be happy.
I was crying. I went home, I was crying. My mom was like, this is the only time you came fourth position. Why are you crying? She did not know. I was just crying.
Okay, so you never told her.
I did not. And I think I did not. I did not tell her. I was just crying. And it affected me that there were those times my school do go on competitions. It's not like I'm not a fan of math, but then I know how to, those questions are easy. But whenever they want to pick contestants, they come to our class, I'll just shift back. I know I want to be good at everything,
Yeah.
but to face that crowd,
Yeah.
that voice in my head would be like, you hope you know, say, you know, get used, go too good like that. So I never participated. And then when they come back with the prizes. In my mind, I'll be like, I can do this thing. Oh.
Yeah.
I can do this thing. Oh.
Yeah,
I'll be
I
so
can relate.
pained. And those words had a lot of, should I say, big toll. Did a lot in like negative things.
Yeah.
Growing up,
If you have this feeling of you're not enough,
I'm not a normal.
you can't achieve big things, you know.
God, it was a lot. And all those words, I know it's just those words he said, but it had a lot. I found myself not playing with ladies because I felt,
You were
ladies-
supposed to be a boy.
yeah, I felt ladies are weaklings. You won't see me play with, God, please, my child should not be stubborn. Because my mom, God, I became very stubborn. Like, you know when it means not only playing with boys, so playing with the stubborn boys in the
Wow.
area. So, so it was, it was that bad. Like, that was my teenage age. I was almost, yes, I was a tomboy. But you know when your mother said, no matter how an okra grows, you know if you grow past the owner. So my mom bent me.
Come on.
So
Struggle.
yeah. So, growing up, it was difficult. And then now, it's just recently, I think last year, I even noticed. Because as a guy, you call me, you're telling me love things.
Ah.
I'm like, what's wrong with you? Oh, that talk normal, Jerry. Like, I felt it's coming like, it's not, they
Yeah.
go well. Which trying they talk love, talk business, where to go bring
Yeah,
money. for
I can relate to
table.
what you're saying, especially because I had a stepmom who would seize any opportunity to say, "You're a witch, you are very ugly, you're this, you're that," and it's made me feel for the longest time It made me feel like you say, "Ah, you look good, you look beautiful." I didn't believe.
Yeah.
Do you get? I'll not believe. I could just say, "Oh, thank you," but deep
Deep
within,
down,
I
yeah.
did not believe. And in fact, at some point, I felt like you were taunting me,
Yeah.
even though you could be sincerely saying, "Oh, you look beautiful, you look good," and because of that, I hardly even smiled. I hardly smiled because when someone says ugly, what comes to your mind is like monster.
Yeah.
So it was difficult for me to smile. And even when I smiled, I'll cover my mouth.
I had that
Wow.
issue.
Same here.
So you see, words, not
Yeah,
just
seeds.
not just physical pain, but
Yes.
psychological trauma.
Yes.
These things are
It's
real.
more like it's building up.
So she would say that to us, me and my younger sister. She and her daughter. She came into the marriage with her daughter, and they'll say these things to us, and over and over and over and over again. So imagine you hearing it all day long. It becomes a part of you.
Yeah.
So um it's what you hear when you wake up in the morning. It's what you hear in the daytime. It's what you hear when you go to bed. And it's what you are being greeted with in the morning again. So over time, you begin to believe it. You begin to believe it. And it doesn't really play out until maybe those people that have said those things are no longer there.
There.
And then you enter another phase. Then these things begin to play out. You begin to wonder why people are wondering, why are you like this? Why are you the way you are? Something don't happen.
Yeah.
True.
Lord help us. So like you can't call me. Maybe you want to be like, hello, how are you? You know how ladies are supposed to respond, I'm fine.
Yeah. I'll be giving bedroom voice.
What's that?
No, you just say, how far? How you did? My friend don't talk to me like that. Yeah?
Aggression.
I did not know. And then you hear most times, the next thing they will say, sorry, oh. Not until a friend of mine one time like that, she said something. She said, your heart is too hard. I just looked at her. She been on my friend. Maybe she's just looking for my trouble.
Mm.
She said, you too get strong mind. And you're a lady again. I was like, strong mind how? It got to the extent that maybe if I see someone, something happens and I'm like, hey, yeah.
Mm.
In her presence, she'll be like,
Yeah, lie. She know me now.
she'll be like,
She know me now.
this one way wicked. I'm like, is it that? No. And it was not only her.
Yeah.
There was a time one time, I think, was it recently? Yeah, I was on call with someone.
Oh, God.
Confession
Sound like-
time.
Yes, confession. Yeah. Like, okay, you're on call with someone.
I was on call with someone and I did not know that my uncle was eavesdropping. And the person was just talking because it was actually on speaker.
That uncle is cool. We need to bring him
very,
here.
very cool. So I put it on speaker because I was busy and my earpiece was not close by. So when the person was talking, I was like, no, you don't tell me that. You don't tell me that. Careful. Mind what you're saying. The person was like, the picture you posted, you look beautiful. And I said, and so what happened? What happened? I was advising the person on something. I don't know what was that. And I knew that I was too harsh. The person was, I think I was telling the person that he should work on something. And the person was like, I'll work on it. And I said, you start now.
Hey.
You start now. You don't tell me you work on it. You start now. Hey. I just had my uncle from inside. He did.
Oh God.
And when I knew that
Poor
the thing
boy.
was worse, the person was like, and the thing is, I don't know, maybe it's that bad. I expect them to retaliate so we can
Yeah.
exchange small words. But the
Yeah.
next thing I hear is, sorry, I've heard you. So
We'll pay you.
it's like,
You now
what's the
look
shout
foolish.
for?
So it's total waste of time. They will not come down to your level.
So,
Like-
good. So my uncle called me one time and he started advising me. because not that he's the only one that have advised me, but when it comes to talking to someone, he's very good at it.
Mm.
That was when it, the veil was lifted,
Yeah.
and
Can now see Jesus
and I said,
face to face.
I said, I said this thing is bad because those words made me hard.
Mm.
I hardly accept love.
And you'll be affecting
Yeah.
other people.
Yes.
I was really like they were really
Definitely.
they were collecting. They collect. People will not do anything. Just like you said that you're healing, I'm still healing.
We're all
Right.
still here.
The fact that I've noticed that this is what
It's one step to
Yes.
Yeah. It's one step in the right direction.
yeah. So
and
you know,
accepting it.
yeah, I've accepted it. So I'm working towards that. So one thing is we don't understand. People feel it's just action that can cause trauma. Your action. But words, you see, words are even heavier. I think words, is it emotional now and physical?
Verbal.
Verbal.
Causes
They're more I feel
emotion.
they're more heavier.
Mm-hmm.
Because talking about not believing that you're beautiful, I used to have someone very close. I think like a relative. We're not related, but not related by blood, but related by circumstances. So this person would always tell me that I don't know what you're feeling like. And it's not like you're even fine. There are 10,000 ladies that are beautiful than you out. They are beautiful, not even beautiful than you. That are beautiful outside. Very ugly.
Oh.
I never believed you. If you tell me I'm beautiful, I'll just be like,
In fact, you feel more like you're insulting me.
I'll just feel like finish your till they talk, where they go, where they go. I did not believe it. And I would hear people say, you have brown eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, look, what brought brown eyes here now? Who is this one again? I did not believe it. Took a while. I don't look at the mirror. If you see me looking at the mirror, maybe something entered my eyes
Mm-hmm.
and I'm trying to remove it.
Yeah.
But I want to look at the mirror and say, oh, this.
Yeah.
I just started realizing that my eyebrows are beautiful.
You know.
My eyes are brown.
Do you know that at some point, I
Yeah.
remember I was seriously praying that my children will not look like me.
Oh, God.
I'm telling you.
And look how beautiful she is.
I was seriously praying with the whole of my heart that Lord, please, my children must not look like me. They should look like their dad. They should look like either my husband or look like my mom, like that. They should not look like me at all. I'm telling you,
And God will be in heaven
sincere
looking
prayer.
at you and shaking his head.
Sincere prayer.
Like,
As well.
if it has done a lot of harm on people.
You-
So
I think one of the things we also need to put in perspective is the fact that because we are aware, it's we now have the responsibility to be better people and be conscious of what and how we speak to people. Because when you talk to people, I believe when you're speaking to someone, you're speaking into their lives. So not just on not just one of the prayers I always pray is, Lord, let the words that I speak be words of life. That anyone I encounter, that I speak to, that whatever comes from my mouth will be words of life. So it's one prayer that I consistently pray. So if for you to get to the point where you begin to pray this prayer, you mean you must have realized that there is death on the tongue, and you decide to choose life. So because you have realized that these things have been done to you, you know that to counter it, there are people who also are experiencing what you have experienced. So to counter it, you begin to speak life to them. And sometimes intentionally. And sometimes you might not even tell a person that you are this and this and this and this are things that are wrong with you. But when you begin to speak life to them, they begin to see that this person is different. And then they are able to open up to you. There are some people that hug. Nobody taught me to say I love you or hug like that. I intentionally began to.
the first day you hugged me, I felt
What's doing this one?
I was like, what happened?
From where?
I was like, what's happening? Seriously, the first day, because the first day, I think, was it the first day we met?
No, I don't think
Abi,
so.
was it at the studio? In the studio? I can't recall.
Okay.
But then she just opened her hand. I was like, what was happening?
That hug
So
is
now they
feeling-
look for it.
So words, just hugging people, acknowledging things about them, encouraging them, because you have to allow people to walk through their journey. You can't force them to be healed. It's one step at a time. If not, you will bruise them. That's just it. You will bruise them the more. So we have to learn patience. Have to learn patience. There are times that people will withdraw, not because you did anything, but they just withdraw. They don't feel like continuing with you and all that. You still have to be patient and continually pray for them. Because the truth is, Satan has plans for them already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't go through what you go through just for the fun of it. It's too. One of his strategies is shame. Once you can get to that point where you are ashamed and you cannot, you don't get to.
Isolate yourself.
You isolate yourself, and that you see bitterness and what's it called now? Bitterness, offense, bitterness, resentment, all these
Yeah.
things. So anger. You have people that they just cough like this. You don't block them. You don't know how to extend grace to people, and you just once they do something little, minute, something that is resolvable, because you
You
for
don't
the
have
sake of
strength.
your mental health,
Mental health is already distorted.
you cut them off. No man is an island.
Yeah. No,
It's a different ball game if the Holy Spirit is telling you, see this person, that person,
Cut off. Yeah.
cut off. But that because someone offended you, you say be a vexed person. You get so this life no hard like that.
Yeah.
So we just have to be
You
be
know,
good people, be better people.
so something I just want to. It's just you said someone offends you, you should give grace. I just found myself guilty of that. So
I was looking at you now.
Hey,
You used to look at me.
careful.
These two.
Careful. So
Yes.
last week,
Yeah.
right? Or
Confession.
last 2 weeks. Hey, I'm confessing now. Calm down. At least I know that I'm faulty here. I did something.
We listen, we don't judge.
So last 2 weeks, on our way to the studio, we stopped the keke. Kind now, calm down. We stopped the keke and there was a woman inside
We still
already.
take a care.
Yeah, keke,
Tricycle.
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 So when
It's
we
nice. You
entered-
get to meet people.
when we entered the keke, there was a woman inside already.
You see?
So she entered first and then I followed suit. So when she entered, the woman was seated like this.
You should chatter it.
So when
Like she was literally her elbow, her hands were. So when I
and I
entered,
did
okay,
not know. Calm down.
It's your story.
It is not your story to
It's
tell.
my story.
Tell your story.
So I didn't even know that was what happened. So she opened her arms and she was uncomfortable because she was in the middle.
Okay.
And she was trying to adjust. And the woman just turned. Kalle ni da kyau.
Yeah?
Kalle ni ga fuska na, kalle ni da kyau. I said, what's this?
Just give me 5.
I just turned. She has come and she's not. I said, yay!
You met me well.
I just looked at her. I said, me ya faru? Baki zauna daidai ba. Sorry, please, for people that don't understand. When she said kalle ni da kyau, it means look at me very well.
Yeah, you
You're
want
not
to see
seated
my face?
properly. You are still shouting on top of what you're doing wrong. And auntie, I was feeling she needed to give her back to back. I looked at her, I said, I now said a word before I was like, Allah baki hakuri. I said, may God give you
That house,
patience. I was expecting her to just bazan wannan ba. The woman did not answer. Even at that, I was not like, sai ki ce matan Buhari? Kina wani ihu? Kina wani ihu? Keken da ba naki ba? I was very angry.
See drama.
And didn't want to react too much.
And I
because
was
of her.
laughing.
And I was like, so he's on and the kick so you see can night.
Wow.
And she did not answer. She was just looking at me from the mirror.
Same mirror.
And I look, and if you see the woman, they will beat me.
Oh wow.
She's big. Oh.
She's big, oh. And she was looking at me through the mirror.
Mm.
I now looked at her too.
Can't intimidate me.
And I did like this. Lord have mercy.
So I was in their middle.
And she was, I was just waiting. I don't know, maybe she was shocked. I was waiting for her to just say something so that the energy will
She met her mouth.
forgive me,
Oh,
people of God.
Mm.
So we got to our destination, we came down. And I was very upset with this lady.
Throughout that
Throughout
day.
that day, I was
Are
upset
you
because
serious?
why would you allow someone
You
talk to
expected
you?
her to give
I was
back you up.
expecting her to just not even take the bull by the horn.
Come on. And
She did not. She not allowed the bull to go.
aw.
So, I did not even extend grace, and I noticed it was all those trauma of a thing. I
Like-
know one person may cheat me.
Do you know that could have escalated?
Yeah.
That could have escalated.
But
Though.
thank God. Now small thing. They make person come on knife.
Come on, knife. Eh? Before they will shoot somebody in
You
the eye.
person, you don't carry.
And small thing.
And the thing is, this lady I'm talking about, she's taller than me. She's
She's
well
big.
built.
You don't know where she's coming from. You don't know what she's going through. You don't know.
You know, the first thing that came to my mind, I said, this woman is like, she's not feeling fine upstairs.
She's not feeling fine. And from
She
her, I
carries-
knew that she was going through a lot.
She carries
From
something
her
I
look.
hit my head now.
Mm.
She was going through a lot.
So
from her look.
it's possible that it wasn't. It had nothing to do with you guys.
Yes.
It had
Nothing.
nothing.
Because the way she,
Mm.
I was very surprised.
And it will take a lot of courage for you to see a person like that, have an encounter like that, and you just squeeze the person's arm. What I mean by that is you squeeze the person's arm, like more or less like, it's okay. You understand?
Oh.
Do you get?
Yeah.
So sometimes
back-
like that, we miss opportunities
Yeah.
to
Well, this thing
bless
we don't judge.
people.
We listen, we don't judge. People of God, I'm a changed person.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Well
Praise
changed
God.
people.
Yes.
Lord helping us.
So from this few points of ours,
that's
we
it.
hope that we've been able to convince you
Oh, yeah.
and not to confuse you that
That.
you can come out of your trauma.
Hallelujah.
Mm.
Thank you, Jesus.
You can heal if you give yourself the opportunity and you meet the right people.
And you are not the only one going through
You're
that.
not the
Yes,
only
you're not
one.
and
You're not the only one.
you know, people should stop saying you don't understand. You don't
You
understand.
don't know what I'm going
You don't know
through.
what I'm going
I feel
through.
you don't understand is like an insult even.
Even- Let's be there.
So yeah, this topic is very wide.
Yeah,
It's
it
very
is
we just
actually.
touched a part of it. So we will be talking about it in one of
Stay
our episodes.
tuned.
So please stay tuned. And maybe you want to share, maybe you have something to add, or you want to remove something.
Yeah.
Just put it in the comment section. Don't forget to like this video and don't forget to subscribe, please. It's just like this. Just subscribe and also hit the notification bell. So all of the videos I'll be posted here, you'll be notified about them.
Simple.
Thank you, our lovely viewers.
God bless
God
you.
bless
See you in our
you.
next
We
video.
love you guys.
Bye.